Hello, hello, hello. Who's excited to be here? I am. Happy Wednesday. Hope you are having a wonderful day so far. And are we back on? That was the weirdest thing. I don't know what's been going on with my internet, but I feel like I've been having a lot of issues lately. Hopefully we're back and running. It said that it was paused and it had to stop the broadcast, but it says live, so hopefully we're live. I don't know about you, but I feel like the months are just going by so fast. April is basically gone. I feel like it was just here, which is really wild because wasn't it just the beginning of the year? Like now we're almost halfway through the year. Where is time going? Right? Like, wow, it's going by so fast. So, this would be a really great opportunity to take a moment to reflect on how far you've come over the past, however many it's been, almost 5 months of the year 2022. Maybe did you set any goals for like a New Year's resolution or any New Year's goals or anything that you specifically wanted to work towards that maybe you're not as far along as you were hoping you would be? Or maybe you're super far along and you are feeling super proud and excited about the next half of the year. So, regardless, I just kind of really want you to think about that for a little bit, reflect on it, see how far you've come, where do you still want to improve and grow, and how can I best support you? What do you need from me? Whether that's a live training on something, whether that's if you want to apply for one-on-one coaching, just let me know how I can support you in getting to your goals. That's what I'm here for. That is what gets me going. That's what I want to help serve you. So if you feel like you need some extra support, reach out. Let me know what you need from me. If you have a specific topic you want me to talk about, if you have a specific question you need me to answer, or a specific goal you need some guidance and accountability getting towards, I'm your girl. Let me know. All right. So let's get to this week's discussion question. I asked in the group on Tuesday if you all meal prep. And if so, maybe what meals and what do you struggle with the most? So we got a lot of really great answers. So I'm excited to kind of go through some of this. So first, what I'm going to do is read through some of the answers, give a couple thoughts, and then we're going to go more into my specific tips and tricks for successful meal prepping. So let's see. Betsy says she meal preps all meals except for breakfast, and it has really helped in reducing the grocery bill. I love that. I think that's so critical to notice because when you are intentional about planning your meals and prepping your meals, guess what doesn't end up in the cart as much are those kind of those things that sticky finger items as you're at the grocery store, whether you're shopping hungry or you're getting distracted by the different foods on the shelves. But if you have your, and we're going to talk about more of this in a second when I have, when we go through my specific thoughts on meal prepping, but when you have a plan and you go into the grocery store with your list, you know what you need to get for your meals and your like snacks and your pantry staples, whatever. This is definitely going to help you stay focused, kind of put those blinders on at the grocery store and not allow those more distracting, maybe like we'll call them like more processed foods that maybe you're trying to stay away from. That is much easier to stay out of your cart when you have a plan and a list. So Betsy has seen this happen firsthand, and that has helped with reducing the grocery bill. And also a huge time saver in terms of preparing the meals ahead of time, like a huge stress lifted off of her. So she says she's not struggling at all, which is amazing. Betsy, you're crushing it. I'm so proud of you. Brenda says she meal preps when she has to work, especially the mornings. If she's home, she finds less of a need to because she loves to cook fresh meals instead of eating reheated meals, which I completely agree with and can get behind because I feel the same way. Like if you're going to be busy and you have to be out at work, then yes, having some meals prepared can be super helpful to not have to like go get some takeout or fast food if you weren't prepared, or go to the cafeteria or wherever you work, right? We want to be prepared to not only set you up for success in eating according to your goals, but also for saving money and for reducing some of that stress. So, Brenda, keep up the good work. Meal prepping when you know that it will help you be more prepared for work. So, that's awesome. Joanna says, I want to meal prep, but I find that after 2 days, she doesn't really like the food that it's been sitting in the fridge. I hear you. And I have some tips about that we're going to talk about in a minute. Let's see. Heather says weekends and sweets. That must be what she struggles with the most. I can meal prep easy during the week because my husband is at work and she eats by herself all day. But the weekends and days that she's off, she struggles with. Sometimes because you go out to eat, or the husband brings home sweets, or we want to go for ice cream, especially in the summer. So that being said, absolutely, like there are always going to be these different factors playing a role in whether meal prepping is, actually realistic or not. So I will say that for most of my clients and most people that I work with who are looking to either just get healthier, lose weight, build muscle, whatever the goal is, for most busy people and for most people who maybe have a lot going on, or you have to go to work, or even if you aren't going to work but you don't really want to have to stress about it, meal prepping can be a really great tool to help you be prepared with meals. So let's kind of talk through a couple different scenarios with meal prepping, because maybe a lot of people kind of think of meal prep as like Sunday meal prep. I have to have every single meal for every single day for the entire week, all laid out in my perfect little meal prep containers. And it's like a huge undertaking, which if you can handle that and you feel excited about that and that helps you be successful during the week, amazing. Keep doing that. That's awesome. But if that overwhelms you and that actually maybe adds more stress than actually reducing stress, know that there are other ways that we can go about meal prepping that might be a better fit for you and your lifestyle. So let's talk about kind of like the flow. First of all, you want to determine what the heck you're going to be making. So maybe that's on the day that you're going to go grocery shopping. Maybe it's the day before. You're looking online. You're looking through my Instagram recipes. You're figuring out what you want to make for that week. Maybe you're looking online to see what's on sale at your grocery store, and you can kind of compile your meal plan, or at least a guide in terms of what meals you will be making that week. So maybe that means that you have, 5 different meals picked out, or maybe that means you have 2 meals picked out and you're planning on making a big batch of both of them so that you don't have to make so many meals. So really it's personal preference and what's going to help you stick to it longer term and be the most successful with that, because we want to stick to it. I don't want you to, hit the ground sprinting and changing everything, feeling like you have to do everything all at once, and then it only sticks for a couple weeks and then you're back to ground zero. So that being said, let's identify what is going to be the most realistic for you to implement. And maybe that's starting small. Like maybe you only start with prepping 1 meal a week, and then from there you can continue to build. I was just working with somebody this morning who last week we started, okay, let's make 1 crock-pot dish that you can have for lunches throughout the week. Okay, got that down. So now she's going to do that for next week. And then today we talked about for breakfast. So talk through some different ideas that she can be set up with so that she doesn't have to stress about breakfast. But you can see how we didn't like throw everything at her all at once because that's not going to stick long term. So going back to setting up your meal plan or your list of meals that you're going to be making after figuring out what recipes you want to make, seeing what's on sale. Then you have your guide for your meals, and then you're going to use that meal plan to I put meal plan in quotes because, as you know, if you've heard me talk about it before, I am against meal plans when it's here's your meal plan, this is what you have to eat every day, don't deviate from it or else you're failing. That doesn't work. We don't do that here. But when I say making your general meal plan for like a plan for what meals you're going to make that week, you see the difference? Okay, so then use that meal plan to make your shopping list. So not only does this help you not forget anything at the grocery store, but it also helps you stay focused, like I was saying at the beginning, like putting those blinders on and staying focused at the grocery store so that you only get what's on your list and you don't get those sticky fingers for the processed foods that you're trying to stay away from. Something else that a lot of people find really beneficial is doing the grocery delivery. So most grocery stores have delivery or at least curbside pickup. You literally can go online, order it all online. I personally love grocery shopping. I like going up and down every aisle and looking at all the things. But in terms of time saving, money saving, and sticking to your list, doing online and maybe like curbside pickup or delivery can be super duper helpful. Also, if you're somebody who's crunched on time and you don't have the time to spend too much time in the grocery store, you want to not have to think about it. And you can actually get that kind of like setup recurring. So when you know what your staples are, like, of course, you're going to like maybe make some different meals each week. But for me, my staples, I always have Greek yogurt. I always have eggs. I'm always going to have, like you always kind of have those things that you buy every time you go to the grocery store. All right. I keep going off on tangents. I hope that I'm not losing anybody, but I feel like I have our general plan of where what we're talking about, where we're going, but I keep deviating because, I just have so much to talk about. So anyway, all right, let's get back to, all right, we've got our shopping list. You are staying focused at the grocery store. And then here's what you can do with meal prep. There are so many varieties or like variations of what you can do with your meal prep. And don't think that just because somebody else makes 5 meals or 5 different meals for 5 servings for each day of the week, like you don't have to do that if you can't or don't want to. So when you get home from the grocery store, what I recommend doing is spending just 5 or 10 minutes prepping your produce. So specifically your vegetables. You want to go in and like just wash them, maybe clean them up, chop them up, put them in some containers that you can put at eye level in your refrigerator. And that way it's so much more convenient to either add those veggies to a dish or grab them for a snack or use them during a recipe. But at least even if you do no other prep throughout, like after your grocery shopping, do the vegetables because it will make a big difference. Because like if you're wanting to cook something and you want to have the veggies, but like you have to wash them, you have to chop them, it's pretty time consuming, right? So if you can just like knock it out right when you get home from the grocery store, then it also is more convenient to go ahead and grab those veggies as a snack instead of like getting something packaged out of the pantry or something like that. So that is definitely one way that you can incorporate some meal prep. Another way that you can incorporate some meal prep is doing what I call batch cooking. So maybe you batch cook a nice big pan of roasted vegetables that you can add to different meals throughout the week, or incorporate as a component, or batch cook a big pot of crock pot chicken or a big like thing of baked chicken, but you're not making a specific recipe, you're just batch cooking one component that you can then like throw together. So for example, batch cooking, like we'll use the crock pot chicken for example. that's one form of meal prepping. You're batch cooking this, and then you have it, oh, I can add it to my salad. Oh, I can add it to a quesadilla, or I can add it in with my, or like in the case of the roasted veggies, you can add it in with your scrambled eggs. You can add it into with your crock pot chicken. So then you have a balanced meal. So there are so many ways that you can utilize batch cooking in, your components, and then throw them together and kind of note that you have those different components on hand already ready to go. So that's a form of meal prep that can be really beneficial, especially if you get sick of eating the exact same thing every single day. If you have those components batch cooked up, you can make different things, but using those same key ingredients that are already cooked. So that's what I would recommend for having some variety, but also having a lot of it already kind of done. So of course, then there's our kind of more traditional meal prep. And when we think about it, is having a specific number of recipes. Usually it's like lunches and dinners. You can meal prep breakfasts and have those recipes ready to go in your mind. So when you maybe like on Sunday, that seems to be the most common, but it doesn't have to be. If it is more convenient for you, or like with your schedule that you want to meal prep on Tuesday morning, then amazing, do that. Don't think that you have to do what everybody else does or what they say on the internet just because like that's what they say you have to do. Like, no, we are coming up with a plan, or, I can help you. Or in your own mind, we need to come up with a plan that you can actually incorporate into your lifestyle, because your lifestyle is different than anybody else's, and you should not be expected to exactly follow what everybody else does if it's not realistic for your life. Like it doesn't have to be one size fits all. So going back to different meal preps. So the other piece of meal prep that I think is really helpful is making if you are making like a big batch of whatever recipe, having some ready to eat throughout the week, but also setting some aside to put in the freezer, like portioned out in the freezer, so that on the weeks or on the days that you don't have any food prepped, and maybe your refrigerator is empty, but you don't want to go get takeout, or you're still trying to eat in line with your goals, having ready to go homemade freezer meals can be really, really helpful. And I literally just did this last night. The recipe that I'm going to be posting tomorrow on my Instagram. If you don't know this, once a week I post a new recipe to Instagram, and different like meal prep ideas or just healthy recipes that I've been making. So literally last night I made a thing in the crock pot. I had it for dinner, I had it for lunch, and then I put 3 portions in Ziploc baggies and laid them flat and put them in the freezer. And then now I know that on a day that I need a meal, but I haven't cooked anything, I can pull one of those out and thaw it out, and it's ready to go. So if you are one of those people that wants some variety, or at least having some options on hand, whenever you're cooking, maybe set aside 1 or 2 portions to put in the freezer so that you have those to go, those like ready to go options that you don't even have to think about. That's really helpful if you're like traveling and you're just gotten home, or you're away for a couple days and you haven't gotten to the grocery store yet. That saved my butt a lot. Okay, so now let's talk about another form of meal prep, but maybe we don't normally call it meal prep, but it is. And that's something else that I do a lot is whatever I'm making for dinner, I always try to make sure that I make extras to have leftovers for either lunch the next day or dinner the next day. So intentionally making more than I need, but cooking a fresh meal that night. Maybe it's according to the meal plan that I put together on Sunday. So I have all the ingredients at home, but I'm still cooking a fresh meal, whatever weeknight that is, but then making extra so that I know that I have lunch prepared for the next day, or dinner the next day. And that's a great form of meal prep too, that like it takes a little bit of the intimidation away from it, because you don't feel like you have to make 5 servings all at once, but at least it kind of like still puts you ahead in terms of having different meals prepared. So, all of that being said, there are a lot of different ways that you can piece together a meal prep plan that works for your lifestyle. And just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be the same. Like what you're doing doesn't have to be the same as what everybody else is doing. If you need some help coming up with a plan and coming up with a strategy to implement meal prepping into your day to day, let me know. I'm happy to help you. And just know that it can do a lot in terms of setting you up for success throughout the week or weeks later when you pull that baby out of the freezer. Not the baby, the food. All right. Well, I hope that that was helpful. I hope that that was you got value from that. Like I said at the beginning, let me know what topics you want to hear about. I want to give the people what they want. So tell me what you want, and I'm happy to talk about it. Okay. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your evening. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching along. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.